for us, that would be great. Okay, everyone, thank you so much. I know we're going to have people kind of jumping in. We had a high attendance for this one. This one seems to be like a good topic to kick off the year. My name is Graciela Nobles, and I am doing the Lunch and Learn with my favorite person in EFA here, Dr. Murphy. So we're so excited to collaborate and create these 7 really amazing topics from August to March of next year. We had a version of this through Ask Benji last year called Wild Out Wednesdays. Dr. Murphy and I over the summer collaborated and wanted to expand it a little bit more, make it more inclusive for a lot of different colleagues and different people in different organizations who are working with students and student success to have events and topics that are Arizona specific that could be really interesting and that they could glean from throughout the year. So we collaborated over the summer and came out with some really stellar highlight topics for the next year. So that's what our Lunch and Learn is built for. So if you are the first time attending here, that's great. If you came to our Wild Out Wednesdays last year, that's amazing. The difference here is we want you to eat your lunch, no pressure that you just have to take copious amount of notes. We definitely want this to be a great time for you to take in information and kind of relax and have us bring the speakers to you. So that is the Lunch and Learn intro. I'm going to move over here. In the chats, if you could quickly put down how you heard about this event, that would let us know, what we're doing right and getting the word out about this really great series. So feel free to cascade those messages into the little chat feature here. I'm excited. Hopefully some of you guys are Benji partners or AZCAN members or follow ADE's newsletter. I know we've had a lot of partners kind of push this event out, so I'm excited to hear how everyone heard about it. That's it for me. I'm going to let Dr. Murphy say something if she would like. If not, I'm going to move on to the announcements.
Thank you, Graciela. I'm super excited to have everybody here, and I love hearing the little bell that we've got a new participant joining with us. This is something that, again, Graciela mentioned, we really tried to be intentional on the topics that we selected. And want to put out there to all of you, like, this is really about you and the time that you're able to spend with us. And we want to make this meaningful. We want to make this valuable. And so if at any point, you kind of think of something like, hey, I really need to learn more about this, or I'm not really fully on board understanding like the dynamic of this, that, or the other, please reach out and let us know, because you may not be the only person that wants to understand or learn more about a particular topic. And we'd love to be able to bring that to the table as a topic, not only within our Lunch and Learns, if we can squeeze that in, but in other ways that we communicate updates and information to our partners. So please don't hesitate to reach out with any topics that would be of value or of interest to you. We would love to hear from you. And with that, I will hand it back to Graciela.
Perfect. And just a reminder, we are recording this event, so we will take the video and send it out to everyone who's RSVP'd for the event, and we're happy to share it. And we're also going to have it probably in different areas with Dr. Murphy's toolkit or website and my website. So I will send the slide deck as well, so you can definitely kind of take in all the information and don't feel stressed that you're not going to be able to get this afterwards. So quickly, I'm going to go over to announcements, and then I'm going to hit it over to our first speaker. So for our announcements here for the fall, we have a lot of things coming up over the next couple of weeks. I will have Andrea from ADE talk about the parent influencer a little bit more that she is hosting, but that is something I do want people to be mindful of. This does have clickable links when you get the slide deck, so you can go to the informational page directly. We also have the FAFSA Bootcamp that is being sponsored with ABOR and Dr. Murphy. So that's going to be a really great 4-week event of FAFSA events starting later this next month, and that will go through November. And then our Lunch and Learn November 15th will actually be focusing on the Better FAFSA as well. We're going to have our partners and friends at the NCAN network present. And then finally, Roxanne, if you know her with ABOR, she is also doing the Arizona College Application Campaign. That is a clickable link. The first 100 schools who join that campaign will get a fun goodie box for their school. And then there's also a toolkit. So this is also a clickable link that you can look at, read more about. So this is just some highlights of what's happening. I know that there's so much out there, and this is just the tip of the iceberg. But with all that said, I am going to kick it over to Maricopa Community College, Halise and her team to talk about the 4-year college programs that they have. And I am going to stop sharing my slide deck. Just a second. Halise, you can take it on. Is Halise here?
Yep, I'm here. Just having a little bit of an issue. Hold on, please. I got it for you. Need to transfer this over to another page. There we go. Sorry about that. And we even tested. All right, hopefully you're seeing that there.
Perfect.
All right. Well, hello, everyone. Sorry about that temporary delay there. I'm really excited to be here today to discuss the exciting new development in the Maricopa Community Colleges, which is the offering of our bachelor's degrees, which started this fall 2023. So I don't want to steal the thunder of the video, so I'm going to play that next. So, as I mentioned, we are on our journey now for bachelor's degrees. And I want to give a little bit of context so you understand how we got to this place. And aren't you a community college? Why are you offering bachelor's degrees? So, in case you hadn't been part of, heard the news, in May 2021, then Governor Ducey signed legislation and now is in Arizona State Statute 15-1444 that allows the community colleges in the state of Arizona to offer bachelor's degrees. And under these very particular circumstances that you can see are outlined here. So essentially, the authorization allows us to offer bachelor's degrees to support the Arizona community in meeting workforce demand in areas where there is high student demand and where we don't unnecessarily duplicate efforts of other higher educational institutions in the state, and where we can demonstrate that we are ready and able to offer those degrees. The authorization also outlines several other pieces to that regarding reporting, how our tuition can be assessed, as well as the approval authorities that are potentially required in the state. But overall, the legislation is really open, which is really a wonderful thing about our legislation, is that it doesn't have a lot of stipulations. So it gives us a lot of freedom to really help our community. The Maricopa Community Colleges now in this authorization joins over 145 other community colleges that offer baccalaureate degrees. And we were the 24th state, and now California joins in as the 25th state. They had a pilot process. So we are halfway there for in the United States for states offering, being allowed to offer bachelor's degrees at our community colleges. So why, you might be asking, right? I outlined the legislative why, but the why is that research shows that students who enroll in a bachelor's degree program at the community college level tend to be non-traditional students with an average age of over 30. They're also underrepresented in traditional bachelor's degree attainment. 40% are people of color, 57% are female, and most importantly, 56% of community college baccalaureate graduates report that they would not have pursued a bachelor's degree had it not been offered at their local community college. So we are very, very proud that we are now offering bachelor's degrees, and we will continue to expand access to further opportunities in our state in partnership with our four-year universities and colleges. So together with those partners, ASU, NAU, U of A, we are expanding the pool of bachelor's degrees in the state of Arizona. Oops, there we go. And I went backwards instead of forwards. There we go. So what are we offering? You saw that really kind of quick on the video, but these are what we're offering in fall of 23. We have 2 degrees in elementary, 2 degrees in education in the area of education. This is early childhood dual language. This is a certification program in education, which is really exciting. Dual language proficiency is not required to be in this degree. So it's an important thing about this particular degree. Elementary and special education is being offered at Glendale, Paradise Valley, and Rio Salado College. This also is a certification degree that will qualify individuals to teach in K-8 and mild and moderate special education Arizona teaching certificate, an SEI endorsement, and a K-5 literacy endorsement are all, of course, additional evaluation is required with that, but both of these degrees are designed to help us with our teacher shortage in the state of Arizona. In addition, we're offering a program in data analytics in programming. This particular program focuses on the demands of skills of data analytics and visualization. This is being offered by MESA. Information technology, we are also offering. This mostly focuses, it's very a broad foundational IT degree with a focus on management. So it's a really open degree that will really give someone a wide foundation in IT skills and make them a really good candidate for higher level positions across the many fields that IT supports. We are offering a public safety administration degree at Phoenix College and Rio Salado College. And this degree prepares students to pursue a variety of occupations within public service, including fire, paramedicine, law enforcement, administration of justice, public administrations, corrections and detention, and believe it, more. There's actually more in that degree. And then we have behavioral sciences. This bachelor's degree is designed to meet the state qualifications for licensed substance abuse technician. The degree also allows students to apply for graduate schools to obtain higher levels of licensing. This degree comes at a really important time. As we know, there is a mental health crisis in our state and of course in the United States as a whole. And so this degree has been widely popular right now with the enrollment, which is really exciting that we're seeing such a demand for such an important field. And then finally, we have nuclear medicine. And you might be saying, what is nuclear medicine? Because that's the exact question I asked when this degree was proposed. But a nuclear technologist is an occupation that they prepare and administer radioactive drugs in order to detect abnormalities and help diagnose and treat a range of conditions and diseases. So more than 20 million Americans benefit every year from nuclear medicine folks. So some of you may have actually encountered these individuals before. So it's really exciting, again, a very important field. You might be asking, why these? There's so many things that we need in high demand areas. Well, these were the things that we chose because they are key sectors in our state where there was high need in the workforce and also student interest. So, and these were also talked about extensively during the legislative process. So, where are we going next? So I'm excited to let you know that We are going to be offering an RN to BSN, a registered nurse program, beginning in fall of 24. So we've already gone through that cycle, and we are just now waiting for the HLC, the Higher Learning Commission, approval to offer that. And admissions is estimated to open in September or October of this year. This program is an RN to BSN post-licensure program. So that means that someone already has to have their RN in order to go into this program. But of course, the Maricopa Community Colleges also offers what's known as the ADN, the Associate's Degree in Nursing as well. So if someone isn't already an RN, that's okay. We have that option for them as well. So because we are just going and going, and we're so excited about being able to offer bachelor's degrees, and we have heard from many people how this is going to change their lives. We have already started the plans for fall 25, which are currently under development. So we are working on 3 degrees for fall 25, and those include business administration accounting, business administration management, and artificial intelligence and machine learning. So those are under development now, and then we'll go through the various approval processes to move forward for their approval, and then hopefully they will open for registration in March of 2024. It's really important to note that students can take up to 90 credits across the Maricopa Community Colleges towards some of these degrees. Now, that can vary based on the program, but we really want to emphasize that these degrees are not necessarily location bound, right? So we really want to have access and opportunity for students. So even though Mesa might be the only college offering early childhood education dual language, students could potentially take a good portion of their degree at any one of our community colleges within our district. So that's really, really exciting. And then they would transfer at the point that they go into those upper division classes or into those very specific classes. Also, a lot of these degrees are offered, the classes are offered in many modalities, as David will talk about in a little while. So with that, I'm going to pass it over to David to talk about how these degrees are structured and how someone can get into one.
Hi, everyone. So we are excited to announce that admission for the bachelor's degrees is going to mirror the process for our associate and our certificate programs. So students will use the online and paper admissions process that they currently do. There won't be a specific bachelor's application or any differentiated testing scores or GPA requirements other than you would find for normal general MCCCD admissions. Some of our degrees, like elementary education and special education and nuclear medicine technology, will have an additional application and some additional requirements like background checks, minimum GPA requirements for lower division courses. And that's just to continue them into a cohort and get them ready for their upper division classes. Additionally, some of the public safety administration specializations do require employment with a partnering agency or acceptance into a law enforcement or fire academy in order to follow those specific paths. And then, as Halise had said a little earlier, nursing requires an active and current RN license. So although affordability is a driving factor, our students have told us it's about more than affordability. Affordability isn't the only thing that will lead them to continue their education with us. Students really like the overall experience at Maricopa, including our class sizes, personalized support, and connections to faculty. All right. It's important to acknowledge, though, that we will be significantly more affordable than public and private universities at an average of $20,000 to complete the bachelor's degree. So we've got a...
I just want to pause there and just say that's the entire bachelor's degree. The entire bachelor's degree.
That includes tuition for our lower division courses, our upper division courses, additional fees, books, and supplies. So that is encompassing. So students have opportunities to fund college through grants, financial aid, including work study and scholarships, and we also have payment plans. We're very excited to announce we've extended our President's Honor Scholarship to bachelor's degrees. So eligible students who would normally receive full funding for 4 consecutive semesters will be able to receive funding for 8 consecutive semesters in order to be able to pursue our bachelor's degrees under the same President's Honor Scholarship. Right. And we particularly value that a lot of our students don't want a large residential college experience. So we are not residential campuses, we're commuter campuses. We're embedded in the communities. Our students live in these communities. They can walk to class and participate and engage in full college experiences from clubs and organizations that are aligned to their goals and interests, work-based experiences to enhance their connection to people in their field, and then just fun and engaging college activities. What we think of as a college experience has changed, but community colleges were already in tune with the diversity of needs and ways that students might want to engage with us. We've also worked to develop fields of interest, which are communities that are built around students' educational and career interests. So we have activities and mentoring and experiences that connect students within and outside of our college to people who are associated with that field. So it's one of the ways that we facilitate a more personalized college experience for our students. So high school students in early college programs can meet with their advisors to select courses that will help them to fulfill bachelor's requirements. And high school seniors who are not in early college programs can go through the normal channel and apply to start from the beginning. As Halise had said, registration's already begun for our fall 2023 programs, and students can begin to explore degree requirements and prepare themselves for admissions and registration. The steps that are outlined on this slide can be done by prospective students right now. So, yes, we can. So if you're curious about how to get a presenter at your school, you can work with your college recruitment and outreach team and liaison or with early college liaisons to request a presenter to come, provide flyers, handouts, and additional materials. And we just want to thank you so much for being a partner in student success throughout Maricopa.
And in case you're wondering what the enrollment looks like in the programs right now, we have over 1,500 students who have already enrolled in a bachelor's degree, are enrolled and taking classes in a bachelor's degree program. So we're really excited that we have that much interest already, and we know this is just the starting point for us in this journey. So thank you all so much.
Thank you, David and Halise. There are actually 2 questions in the chat. We were wondering if any of the programs are online or hybrid.
Yeah, so Rio Salado Community College is an exclusively online college, or they call themselves the college without walls, which I think is so cool. So there are 2 programs, the education program and the public safety program are completely online, except for one caveat is with teacher education, you do eventually have to do a field-based experience. So that would have to be in person, but the coursework is primarily online. And in addition, most of the programs, even though they aren't necessarily saying that they're fully online, so many of our course offerings, we're slowly kind of getting more back into person, but I think most of our colleges are still running around 60% or more of their classes are still online right now at this point, because that's what people are looking for. So someone could easily navigate a program like almost exclusively online if that's what they needed. And then we're also offering things in hybrid format, as you mentioned, which is my personal favorite modality, and as well as in person. And in the evening, in person in the evening, which is helpful.
Elise, I have a question for you, because I know my mouth dropped when this part kind of came up, and I just want to reconfirm out loud. So for the bachelor's programs, you mentioned it's the same admission criteria as for any student attending the community college. So I'm correct in assuming then that that means there's no GPA requirement and no ACT, SAT requirement.
That is correct. Now we have,
Awesome.
when a student is under 18, there are different rules for that student based on their age, but we have not changed our admissions requirements as a result of offering bachelor's degrees. That was it was so extraordinarily important to us as a system to maintain our mission of open access. So as David mentioned, there are a few degrees that when you get to a certain point, we also want to make sure you're going to be successful, right? And with teaching and nuclear medicine, there are points where it's like, look, you really can't, if you can't pass that background check, if you can't pass the exams that are required, we do as due diligence need to do everything we can to prepare you. But then at some point we need to be able to divert you into another goal. And that's the beauty of each of these degrees. They are actually designed with stackable opportunities. So on-ramps and off-ramps for students, because this may not end up being their full, like the thing that they decide to do. So we've designed them with, you know, especially the IT programs, they have micro certificates, associate's degrees, and then the bachelor's degrees are all sort of contained in there so that students can kind of navigate those opportunities. And if they have to go back to work, and leave us for a while, they would gain more skills and then be able to come back onto that on-ramp at a later time.
Perfect. Thank you so much. And I know that there's some additional questions in the chat. Lizette, do you want to take those?
Yeah. So April is asking if her question is, if we already have students pursuing an associate's degree at one of the Maricopa community colleges, can they transfer it into one of these bachelor's programs? And the second part of their question is, if they already have the President's Scholarship, can it be extended to a bachelor's degree?
That is those are great questions. So the first question about what can they move into any one of the bachelor's degrees? The answer is it depends. I mean, the answer is yes, but to what extent without losing credit is the question. So by that, I mean, these degrees are not set up as 2+2s, where you take any associate's degree and then you can just walk in to the upper division classes for these programs. So most of them are designed as like they have up to 90 credits potentially of lower division and 30 credits of upper division. But even still, they do have, they're in very specific fields, which means they have very specific requirements that you need to achieve throughout your educational journey from the time you're a freshman all the way through the time you're a senior. One of the programs, but again, it depends on where a student is in their journey. So, and we'll take up to 90 credits of transfer credit. We'll also take 60 credits of PLA. So, and so 90 total between one or the other or both of those things, right? So it's a really amazing opportunity. So we're going to be as flexible as we can, but we also have to adhere to the integrity of the discipline to make sure that students are prepared for the career or academic goal that they're hoping to achieve. One of the more flexible ones is probably the elementary education degree. So in that one, they will actually accept anyone who has already achieved an age, or like the AJEC, which is the Arizona General Education Curriculum, and then a few classes that are specific to education, and then they can get into those upper division. And they don't have to necessarily do all the prescribed classes that if you were starting from the beginning, you would have to do. So I'm sorry, what was the second question?
Yeah, no, thank you for that. If the student already has a President's Scholarship, can it be extended to a bachelor's degree?
Yes, so it again depends because they have to have that continuous enrollment. So assuming they're with us now, receiving the President's Scholarship, and then they move into that eligible bachelor's program, then they would be able to continue and extend it, which is so amazing. So really great.
Awesome, thank you. We do have a few more questions here. Erica asked, what would happen if someone started off in the bachelor's program but decided to transition to an associate's degree? Would there be a way for credits to transfer into an associate's degree?
Yeah, since most of them are stacked already within it. If the student's kind of starting with a bachelor's, they're going to hit those, they're going to be getting the general education and the discipline courses that actually already apply to a certificate and or an associate's degree. The only exception that I'm aware of is nuclear medicine. Nuclear medicine no longer has an associate's degree. And there's actually a really good reason for it, because even before we moved it to a bachelor's program, wait for it, it already had 109 credits. So to be honest, it was already a bachelor's degree. But that was what was required in that field. It's like really specific. And so this is just like making a wrong a right by making it like, so the student is like that close to just receiving a bachelor. So we're just kind of not allowing them to stop before that, because there's really no point. So that's the only exception. But otherwise, yes, they can go back. And of course, there can be financial aid implications with students going back and forth. But we take those cases, case by case.
Awesome, thank you. Maria also has a transfer credits question. Their question is, if students are taking college credits at Arizona Western College, can they transfer those credits to a bachelor's program?
Yeah, so what's really wonderful about Arizona is that we have a really strong articulation program through and that is those articulations are set up through AZ Transfer. So it's a statewide. So again, it depends on what the student is taking, but the AJEC, all our bachelor's degrees have the AJEC in it. So if the student has achieved the AJEC, then we would give them credit for having that AJEC, because that's part of that statewide agreement. And then we would evaluate other courses that they have in the discipline case by case. And then we are going to be working really heavily. One of our goals this year is to work with schools throughout the state where they may want us to be their bachelor's degree provider, right? Because not all schools are going to have the same amount of offerings that we do, being such a large community college system. So we're going to be really digging into those conversations with schools like Arizona Western to figure out how can we design these to best meet their needs if students are interested in taking courses with us or completing their bachelor's degree with us.
Awesome, thank you. We have 2 more questions here in the chat. Erica is asking, do you know if the Nina Mason Pulliam Scholarship at the Maricopa Community Colleges will also be extended to these bachelor degree programs?
I believe so. We will fact check that, but I'm like 95% sure that I remember seeing an email that was the case.
Awesome, thank you.
In fact, actually, most of our existing scholarships, so we ran a whole inventory, and I don't know, David, correct me if I'm wrong, but we offer like 700 different scholarships between like the district and the colleges. We did a whole inventory, and like the majority allow it to extend a bachelor's degree. Like they're not specific. They don't say like only for 100, 200 level, right? So that's a good thing, because then that gives more opportunities for students. But we kind of ran that check because you never know, right? Something might be oddly written, and sometimes state statute can be oddly written in that regard. But we're lucky that most of our scholarships were not written that way. So it's good.
Well, yeah, thank you. And then our last question is from Rogelio. He asks, what is the cost for undocumented students interested in pursuing one of these degrees?
Well, this has gotten more complicated, which is actually a good thing because of the latest round of, I forget what I'm going to get it wrong. I think it's Prop 308, right? I think that's correct. Okay. So we would follow for our policies, we would follow Prop 308, which means that students, if they meet those criteria, would be eligible for in-state tuition, which is fantastic. And I am so happy that our state has made that important decision. So that would be the process that we would follow. And that's outlined in our admissions policies because we've already made those revisions since the law changed. But even then, if it's out of, if someone does not qualify for that and they are out of county or out of state, we are still underneath the tuition for in-state for our university partners.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that great information, answering those questions. I will hand it off to Dr.
Perfect. Let me go ahead and share my screen.
Oh, as we're doing that, looks like we got one final question from Olivia. Can we get a list of scholarships that continue on from the associate's degree to bachelor's degree, or where can we find that info? So if that's a quick link, feel free to do that, or a quick answer.
Yeah, we will put a link to the Maricopa Foundation. They won't specify which ones are which. I think the number that didn't were like a handful. So I'd say you're in a good shot if you click on one that it's going to extend all the way through.
Perfect. Thank you so much for all of that information and for answering those questions. I'm really excited by the engagement and the interest. And I think that, again, to kind of piggyback off of Graciela, this was a great topic to start with. So I appreciate that. I want to turn it over to one of my partners in crime. Andrea, are you there?
Thanks, Dr. Murphy. I'm here. Awesome. Thank you. So again, my name is Andrea Glenn. I'm the Director of Post-Secondary and Community Engagement at the Arizona Department of Education. And hopefully this isn't new information, but definitely wanted to share some information with you. So starting off with our Office of Indian Education, for those of you who don't know, does offer a free dual enrollment course or free dual enrollment program effective of last year in September. This dual enrollment program not only is free to all students, not just Native students, but also covers the cost to reimburse books and instructional materials. We want to make sure that folks are aware of this. And if you can just go to the next slide. But we want to make sure that everyone is aware of this for a multitude of reasons. So one, as you guys know, there's some increased legislation around dual enrollment, and the state of Arizona is definitely taking interest in early college programming. Office of Indian Education has had this program for quite some time now, and so we just want to make sure that this is resurfaced and that not just our counselors know, but educators as well, who are dual enrollment certified, or those who want to be dual enrollment certified. There's multiple ways, and one being free that I'll go over in just a second. But this is in partnership with our 3 tribal colleges. So we have Dene, TOCC, and Navajo Technical University. All 3 of these are accredited. And so a student, whether they are Native or not, can actually take courses. These courses, you can use AC transfer, can then transfer over into any of our universities. And in essence, whether a student is a US citizen or not as well, can also take these courses. So a student can get a credential, a certificate, or their associates before they graduate high school for free. Again, it would cover the cost of any special fees or reimburse for their books as well. And just wanting to make sure that folks know that as you're going through your different MOUs with your different community colleges, you can have more than one community college MOU for your dual enrollment program. So if you currently already have one established with Maricopa or with Pima or what have you, you can also have one through our Office of Indian Education to partner with any of our 3 tribal colleges. So again, these are free. There's no reason why a student, if they're interested, if they are Native or not, and they're interested in looking at dual enrollment programming, the way that legislation is written right now with our current SB 1717 is that they're prioritizing low-income students using free and reduced lunch as a qualifier. So with that being said, dual enrollment through Office of Indian Education does not have an income threshold. So a student, again, who's a US citizen or not, an Arizona resident or not, they just have to be obviously enrolled in an Arizona high school or homeschooled, can partake in this program as well. So I'm going to stop there, and then I just wanted to share out, I'm going to share my screen really quick. 2 quick announcements. So as Graciela talked about just a little earlier, in partnership with with Be a Leader Foundation and Access ASU, Arizona Department of Education, as we know, is partnering right now to help increase what parents can do to support us in our FAFSA completion rates here in Arizona. So you guys know that FAFSA is changing in a big way this year, and we need our parents more than ever to be our allies in this process. It's a role-based form, so students obviously will be applying on their own. They'll need certain information from their parents in order to actually send an invitation for their parents to then open their account, have their FSA ID, and then enter the information for their FAFSA application to complete it from there on. So again, because this is such an important and vital, role for our students as they're matriculating into their different post-secondary pathways, be it 1, 2, or 4, we want to make sure that parents are allies in this process. So this year, we're launching our first inaugural FAFSA parent influencer campaign. This is going to be kicking off on September 27th. We're going to be doing an in-person, but also offering Zoom registration for those who cannot attend in person. For those who can, it will be hosted at College Depot at Burton Bar Library downtown. This is an opportunity for parents who are embedded in their community, maybe a part of their booster clubs, or just a part of, the school in general. It can be a current high school parent, a middle school parent, or a parent of a college, even a grandparent, a parent of a college, junior, who is just interested in ensuring that they could get the word out about all the important things related to FAFSA, kind of dispel some of the myths that are out there, present some facts, and then connect families and parents to ways that we can get them support in completing their FAFSA applications. This is volunteer-based. We are going to be supporting all of these volunteers to give them information, social media content, email templates so that they can share in both English and Spanish, and supporting them along the way in the next 9 months. And then we'll be culminating with an end of the year FAFSA parent influencer dinner to just celebrate all the great parents who supported us and supported our completion rates here in the state of Arizona. And then the last thing that I just want to share really quick, and then I'm going to pass it to Jen, is along with quite a few of our allies here in this call, we have been going through and partnering with Access ASU, EFA, some of our college access centers, and Arizona Board of Regents. And so we're hosting college career summits across the state at districts. We kicked it off. So this is just a flyer that we did in support of the Tempe Union High School District 1 that we just had about 2 weeks ago. Last week, we were over at Peoria. And then in just a few weeks, we'll be over at Paradise Valley. So if you guys are interested or, currently working with a school or a district and you would like us to do a customized training around college and career readiness pathways program, learning everything from ways to support your students in FAFSA completion to our Arizona College Campaign, Arizona Decision Day that Arizona Board of Regents is doing, along with things related to ECAP, My Future, and CCRI, we're definitely the place to go. So you can just reach out to us. I'll put both of these flyers in here just so you have a generic template of what that flyer could look like, but we would customize it to your district. And then the parent influencer flyer that has the link to the application for parents to volunteer. And application takes about 4 to 5 minutes. So please encourage parents to fill it out. It's pretty fast and easy. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much, Andrea. Do we have any questions that came up in the chat during Andrea's presentation?
Olivia is asking if that they might have someone interested in the FAFSA parents influencer spot, if they could share the link, please.
Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. All right, let me go ahead and share my screen again. All right, and I will make this snappy for the sake of time because I want to make sure that we have an opportunity for any last questions, comments, concerns for the good of the order, and kind of touch on what's up next for in September. But I just wanted to touch on a little bit about Education Forward and our Arizona College Access Network. So Education Forward Arizona is a conglomeration really emerging of College Success Arizona, Expect More Arizona, and our Achieve 60 AZ team. And a couple years ago, joined forces and we landed with Education Forward Arizona. And really the work that we do is around advocacy, policy, professional development programming in support of the most, I think, critical elements of our P20 education efforts in Arizona. So With regard to one of the aspects of Education Forward Arizona is our Arizona College Access Network. This is kind of under the umbrella, if you will, of National College Attainment Network out of Washington, D.C., really hyper-focused on really three drivers. First one being networking and collaboration, providing the space, time and space for educators, school counselors, college access professionals to have the opportunity to network, to collaborate, to share best practices, to learn and understand from one another around different areas, again, within the P20 space in education. We also really want to, within that networking and collaboration and building that group of professionals who work with students and families in Arizona, really want to be able to focus on advocacy and action towards things like dual enrollment, universal FAFSA, things or initiatives that are really instrumental in supporting our students and reaching our state attainment goal and increasing opportunities for students in Arizona. And last but not least, really hyper-focused on being able to provide relevant and exemplary professional development opportunities to school counselors, educators, administrators, college access professionals, again, everybody working with students in Arizona around college and career readiness, post-secondary planning, financial aid, support, so on and so forth. And so these really are the drivers of our Arizona College Access Network, which is free to join. If you are not already a member, I strongly encourage you to join, and I will put links up. When we talk about member benefits, there are many, but I just want to kind of touch on a couple. You can read for yourself kind of some of the ones that pop up, but I really want to hyper focus on this one bold item. And I'm very happy to share that as I saw names popping into today's event, a lot of folks who are participating in the first College Access Professional or CAP training course of the 2023-2024 school year. CAP courses are really one of kind of our tenets of AZCAN, or that Arizona College Access Network. They are a series of 13 courses that provide strong professional development and resource opportunities, again, for anyone working with students and families in that high school and middle school space. What we are looking at in terms of the 23-24 courses available, kind of laid out here in clusters, so middle school, high school, special populations, and financial aid. You'll notice under high school that the first 4 courses have an asterisk by them. These are what we consider our core courses. And so individuals that complete these 4 core courses will earn what's referred to as the College Access Professional Certification. And for those of our participants who complete those 4 financial aid courses off to the right, they will earn an Arizona Financial Aid Specialist certification. These, again, are what is being offered over the course of the fall, spring, and summer semesters in 2023-2024, but ideally looking to grow the course offerings. With regard to the CAP training, if you're not familiar with them, or even if you have taken or looked into taking CAP courses in the past, I do want to talk about some of the updates because they are relatively significant, especially if, again, you've participated in these courses in the past. So all these CAP courses have been migrated to a Canvas platform that's very clean, streamlined, and easy to navigate. They've been kind of shortened, or I guess we'll say streamlined, if you will, to ensure that it's a maximum of 15 seat hours for each of the courses, so that it really is designed to be realistic and manageable for our working professionals to participate in these courses. All of the curriculum or course content has been fully updated, overhauled, and Arizona-fied, if you will. So it is incredibly relevant to Arizona professionals, and all of the literature, the links, the tools, very much focused on Arizona professionals, again, working with our middle and high school students, and even our post-secondary students. And I really tried to design this with the practitioner in mind, and so that it's not going in and delving into lit reviews on topics. While they may be important, really wanted to kind of focus the readings, the podcasts, the videos in a way that it can be digestible and relevant and intentionally designed for practitioners to be able to use the next day with students based off of what they're learning kind of the night before, if you will. So again, really intentional about making sure that from a timing standpoint, it's realistic for professionals to be doing kind of after hours, if you will. We also have a fully revamped AZCAN website, and part of that website includes a new adoption of training and resources for educators. This is a living space in which folks can really gain access to anything that's recorded, such as these, as well as resources that continue to come out through national channels, through ADE, ABOR, and even Education Forward Arizona. So anything that we really try to provide to our educators, school counselors, and college access professionals in different ways, shapes, and forms, we're trying to load into this website. So it is one kind of living site where you can access a lot of these resources and past recordings. This is the link and the QR code to become an AZCAN member. And again, these slides will be shared with you, so you'll have access to this to be able to utilize those. And at the end of the day, we are, how was I on time? I can't see here. So, oh, I am 6 minutes early. That is
You're doing
solid.
great. We got some
Solid
questions too. You did amazing.
I will stop share so that I can see as we kind of talk through any questions.
Perfect. And we will send out the slide deck. The last slide was to let you know our next event is September 20th, and we're going to have the Tri-U University speakers come and talk to us. September 20th, once again, come to your lunch, bring your lunch, eat, and bring your questions. So we're going to have some great speakers next. And then we have some questions for Dr. Murphy. And if there's other additional questions, if all the speakers are here, we'll answer them. If not, we will have their contact information as well.
Yeah, Dr. Murphy, Terry had a few questions. They were asking if the organization is a member of NCAN, and if so, can they become a part of the membership with NCAN?
Great question. So yes, EdForward is a member or a part of the membership network with National College Attainment Network. If you're an AZCAN member, it doesn't kind of extend to that. So essentially there are separate registration parameters to join NCAN. And that, unfortunately, there's a charge for that. It's not, AZCAN is free, but NCAN does hold a charge for organizations or individual memberships. But definitely worth it. Great resources. Anything that we can provide from NCAN to our AZCAN members, where it's kind of public or even somewhat private, we do try to do that to offset having to become a member if you're an individual or an organization that maybe does not have that built into their budget. So we really do try to be able to provide as many resources that are NCAN resources as possible.
Awesome. They also asked if can participants of these series of meetings receive credit towards the CAPS training?
So the CAP training are separate courses. So there's really not kind of that carryover from meetings that can be applied. But again, the CAP courses are at no cost for this academic school year. And so I highly encourage anybody that has the ability to kind of add that into your schedule. Again, tried really hard to make sure that it was manageable for working professionals. But now that you bring up the idea of kind of continuing education, I'm wondering if, you know, we do a little certification, you know, for our K-12 players who, you know, can apply the time that they spend in these professional development meetings to use for recertification purposes. So I will keep that top of mind and hopefully be able to report back on that in September.
Awesome. And this may be related to the QR code you showed earlier, but are you able to provide the info towards the CAP training scholarship information for 23-24?
So the scholarship piece, this is always kind of a question that pops up, and I've tried to figure out a really cut and dry way to approach this. So here's what I'm going to try and say. For this academic school year, all CAP courses are at no charge. So when you go in to register for one or more CAP courses, you're going to be asked a question about how are these CAP courses going to be advantageous to you and the students or families that you serve. That is what we consider a scholarship question. So as long as you complete the application or the registration form in its entirety, you've technically received the scholarship.
Awesome. Thank you, Dr. Murphy. I believe those were all the questions.
Perfect. I do want to make mention of one quick thing. I'm sorry, Lizette, to cut you off. When we showed the financial aid boot camp piece, the flyers and all of that information, one thing that I was going to bring up then, but I thought I'd save it till the end, is also kind of make a little save the date. We're going to be sending out an official save the date, but on December 1st from 8:30 to 2 p.m. At ASU West, we'll be holding our 2023 FAFSA kickoff and Easy Can launch, and this will be a very robust professional development opportunity, very much a conference style professional development opportunity, where we're going to have hopefully our governor there, who's going to announce our FAFSA goals for the year. We're going to have actually NCAN representation there, not only participating in our plenary, but also doing a breakout session. And this is an opportunity to continue to learn what we need to know for the upcoming FAFSA and working with students and families around that. So there will be an official save the date coming out, but I did want to kind of just put that on everybody's kind of back of your mind.
Perfect. And I put a link for the FAFSA bootcamp. Once again, I will be sending out emails to everyone who RSVP'd, and you're more than welcome to forward that on. Dr. Murphy and I will have the slide decks and the video recording on our respective websites, because we are partnered together. And then I put the Lunch and Learn flyer there just in case you signed up for one. It's okay to sign up for all in advance, so you can at least get the emails if you can't attend. Thank you for everyone for attending. We're so excited to see your faces and names again in the next 6 events. And we'll stop recording. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. That's what we're here for. And we're excited to build a community and network with you all over the next year with all our different events, with our different partners. Let us know if you have questions. Have a great day.
Thank you so much.
I'll hang out here, but we'll stop recording just in case there's any questions for Dr. Murphy and I.
Figure out how to stop recording.
Yes, Gear Up. We do work with Gear Up, so we're excited.